This is Mike, NoStressMike.com. I thought I want to talk a little bit about shit hits the fan. And the reason is make sure everybody understands what page I'm on when it comes to, bad things happening. To me, shit hits the fan is in different types of scenarios. It could be something, now I'll say it, but as simple as financial crisis. When I think about the one time I've only been in it once, and that's when I was in the oil business. And like I say, I was 30, I went in when I was 29, but my early 30s, I went on and put everything I had, put my house on the line, and all my resources, all the money that I have, sold my stock, sold everything. All the money I had, I put into the oil business. And I made videos talking about it, but anyway, everything went belly up. Not just for me, but I mean, it was a planned type thing. So anyway, I went broke. I didn't go bankrupt, but I learned from that. And I'll tell you, a financial shit fan, it's bad. We hated when the phone would ring. My wife and I, we would try to figure out who's going to answer the phone, because this was before caller ID. And you didn't know if it was bill collectors calling you or, we had no idea. And so we really didn't want to answer the phone. And so it was bad. And it took me a while to come out of it. Oh, here's somebody was asking about dogs. There's some more dogs. But so there's financial crisis, and that's one reason why I got gold and silver now. I figured out how to avoid financial crisis, possession of gold and silver, and no debt. So that's what I learned. Now, maybe you got some other way of doing it, but I don't know. I'm just letting you know what I do. Okay, so I've had it like that. I've had emotional crisis that I had to go through. Little ones is just family problems and stuff like that. I would say it's little. At the time, it didn't seem all that little. When I lost my wife of 41 years, that was big, and it continues to be big. One of these things that I've had to deal with, and crisis can come, take an emotional toll, and then, spiritual. I don't know if we really want to call it spiritual kind of way. That's flying a kite. The guy's flying a kite. That's what he's doing. But when I get in situations where it's really scary, and it's scary for physical. I'm thinking somebody could hurt me, and of course it'd be when I was younger. I was in the racial riots, and then there was Vietnam. So it's still shit is the fan when you're out in the jungle, living out in the jungle for 13 months, not knowing when you're going to fight, how many you're going to fight, not knowing if you're going to be disabled or killed or whatever's going to happen to you. It puts a big drain on you. And then one thing. Let me see. Before I go into that, You know, I made videos on all this stuff already, but you know, I had 3 Chinamen come from Hong Kong. They were fresh from Hong Kong, and they thought their Chinese gang methods were going to work when I was out in California. So I had 3 of them jump me with knives. Well, yeah, I was just back from Vietnam, so hey, you only have 3 of you, and all you brought was knives. You know, so I got through that. But you know, after that, that made me realize, man, you know, these are things that are, you know, that you have to prepare for. You know, I've owned businesses. I've had people try to rob me. I lived in Central America for 14 years, and I drove back and forth. You know, so I drove all over. So, you know, I had bandits and police, military. Some were corrupt. In other words, they wanted to rob me. Drug cartel people. I'm supposed to pay to have permission to drive across certain countries and stuff like that. These are all things you have to deal with. And that would, when you're out in the jungle, and you're by yourself, and you know, that kind of falls into a shit is the fan type situation. So a lot of these things happen. And so I've learned from early on, you have to prepare. You prepare for each one of these things, and then once you're prepared, then it's not a thing to be concerned about. Once you're prepared, like I say, I got the gold and silver. So now, I mean, if there's a financial crisis, it won't be mine, because I've learned how to avoid it, but it could be something else. I've got the means to get through it. So there's things you can do to prepare for whatever the shit is the fan type situation arises. One of the cool things was my wife of 41 years, I would buy guns and ammunition and stuff like that. Well, she already knew I was a Vietnam vet, and, so that wasn't no big thing. But one of the really cool things was she was Chinese from Guatemala. She was born and raised in Guatemala. And one thing that she learned, they had a shit hit the fan situation down there when she was a young child. And she remembers her father at the door. There's rioting outside, and they got big old thick wooden doors, and her father was there at the door, and he held a handgun. And she remembers her father saying, "Those son of bitches aren't going to rape my women." So she knew early on what a firearm was. So me getting firearms was no big deal. So she was really supportive of it. Oh, hey. Let you see what's going on out here. See, there's swimmers. See the swimmers? I think you can see the swimmers. But anyway, oh yeah, there's more down there at the end waiting. They've already swum. These are the leftovers. But and like I say, from when I was younger, I had fun and enjoyed learning how to do different weapons, ancient weapons. I loved ancient weapons, you know, like the Spartans using all that kind of stuff. I like doing that, so I started with that, and so that gave me interest on, and I learned to defend myself, and that's one of the reasons why I was able to get through Vietnam. Not only a lot of it's luck, but like you say, you really have to have some kind of abilities to help. You can luck through something, but the more often you do it, it's not luck. It turns into some type of skills and a little bit of luck to go with it. But the strange thing is now, like I say, I'm preparing Oh, and this doesn't even include, I think I carried a gun 35 years, 40 years, concealed carry. And everybody on the Chinese side of my family thought I was crazy until I finally got in a gunfight in a convenience store. It was my cousin's convenience store. And now the Chinese realize, hey, he's not a nut. They were happy I had the gun. So, when you prepare, then it's not that big a thing. What's kind of odd is my new wife now. She was an orphan. So she's been a ward of the state her whole life. And so she's not worried about nothing because she knows the government's going to take care of her no matter what. She doesn't understand all the prosperity because she's never had prosperity. She's only had what the government has allowed her. And so for me, I understand prosperity. I make it, and I want to hang on to, I want to hang on to my prosperity. I want to enjoy life. I want to do things. These are things that are all foreign to her. So getting used to me preparing has been hard on her. She can't figure out how. I've been spending a lot of money on trying to get everything ready because now I'm living in a high-rise apartment building. I've never done that before, so I've had to start figuring out what am I going to do, how am I going to get out. So right now I've been working on 2 bags. One bag is to get out of the building. I'll have stuff in there needed just to get out of the building. And then another bag, once I get out of the building, what are you going to do once you get out of the building? For her, she doesn't think about any of this stuff because she's not worried because the state will take care of her. So, but anyway, it's kind of funny because she does not see or understand shit hits the fan. I've pulled people out of buildings after tornadoes, hurricanes have destroyed places, and I've had to go in and pull people out of these buildings. It wasn't my shit hit the fan, it was theirs, and they had a bad shit hit the fan situation. I try to avoid as much as I can. But it's a life, no telling what happens. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.